Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what is going on, y'all? V-Rob here, and yes, I know I am very late about this news, but I've been hella busy. I've been out of town. I've been trying to do a lot of different content about NBA 2K, about Kanye, about music, about vlogs, all of the above. I've been hella busy with school starting up, but I am finally going to give you guys my opinion about Dwight Howard signing with the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, a little backstory to the contract. He signed what is called a summer contract. What that is that there is no guaranteed money on the contract. So if you got hurt, if you got cut, if you got traded, there is no guaranteed money on that contract. So what it is, he's actually not getting paid right now. He gets paid per day starting October 21st, the day before the NBA regular season starts, which is the 22nd. He will be getting paid $14,000 a day with the Lakers starting October 21st. So it's kind of a weird contract. I know Anthony Bennett has a similar contract with the Houston Rockets, but I do not know too many players that are on that deal. Part of it is with Dwight Howard being a veteran. Part of it is when he signed in the summer. I don't really know the logistics of it, y'all, but it is pretty interesting to know that. So to start things off, we're going to look a little bit back on how Dwight Howard did last year with the Washington Wizards and what he did with the Charlotte Hornets for 81 games in the 2017-2018 NBA season, because I just look at last season, but I mean, I don't want to go too in depth on what happened with Dwight Howard last season, especially off the court, because this is a family channel. So yeah. Time for some stats. Alright, so looking at the 2018-2019 NBA season, Dwight Howard only played 9 games with the Washington Wizards. In those 9 games, Dwight Howard gave them 13 points per game along with 9 rebounds and 2 blocks per game. He shot 62% from the field, 60% from the free throw line. But like I said, y'all, there is just not a lot to go with that. After those 9 games, we know the story of what happened. I mean, he got finesse, he got catfish. I don't want to go too in depth about that because I just feel it's not the right time, especially looking at Dwight Howard and listening to some of his interviews that he had with Christine Leahy, a few others. That was the rock bottom of his life. You know what I mean? So I feel it's important that we just move over that. Obviously, it's a big deal. Obviously, people are going to make a meme about it, a joke about it. But we have to look at it from his perspective. I mean, it sucks. And I don't think he ever wanted to put himself in that type of position. So we're just going to move on from that. And we're going to go backwards to the 2017-2018 NBA season where he actually played more than just 9 games. So looking at the 2017-2018 NBA season, Dwight Howard played this year with the Charlotte Hornets. Obviously, the Hornets did not make the playoffs this year or that season. But Dwight Howard had a very, very solid year. He finished the year off with 17 points per game, 13 rebounds per game, 2 blocks per game, and he shot 55% from the field, 57% from the free throw line. During that season, he had 53 double-doubles, 4 plus 30-point games, 7 plus 20 rebound games, including a game in which he went 30 and 30 rebounds and 30 points. I mean, you look at the stats, y'all, Dwight Howard played very well for this team. 17 and 13 is what you want from a big man like Dwight Howard. Obviously, the free throw percentage is worrisome, but hey, he's a great defender, and you look at him from that season. He was very athletic. He was very good in the pick and roll with Kemba Walker. He gave Kemba Walker a lot of good opportunities and a lot of second chance shots. He was a perfect fit for that team. Like I said, yo, if you put that Dwight Howard on a contending team now, and he gives you that type of productivity, that would be such a solid pickup. That is why it is so good for the freaking Lakers. Now, it is pretty interesting to read Adrian Wojnarowski's article about this. We learned that Dwight Howard this summer, or since the end of last NBA season to this point when he met with the Lakers, he dropped 25 pounds, according to Adrian Wojnarowski. It was also reported that he met with players on the team such as Anthony Davis, Rondo, and JaVale. They were all very concerned, and they wanted to see if they could trust Dwight Howard. And it also came out, league sources said Howard had a convincing and emotional meeting with the players and Lakers officials, explaining how he had reached rock bottom a season ago and needed to find a new mindset in life, on and off the floor. He was not the teammate he needed to be in playing for 3 teams in the past 3 years. He did not take the game serious enough. He did not understand what was needed to turn the corner. Obviously, you look at that, and I think you put him in a room with Anthony Davis, JaVale McGee, and Rajon Rondo. You also have probably the coaches in there, Frank Vogel, Jason Kidd, probably Jeannie Buss, Pelinka, not Magic. But my point is, those 6 right there, or those 7 that I listed, those 7 right there can really get a true character out of someone. I guarantee LeBron was probably in talks with Dwight Howard, whether it was on the phone or in person in LA. And we know the history of LeBron and Dwight Howard. They've kind of had a shaky relationship, judging how big of a rivalry the Magic and the Cavs were back in like 2008 to 2010. I think the team grew a trust in Dwight Howard, and they probably looked at him like, hey, this dude can still hoop. This dude can still hoop. But I mean, you look at his videos right now of him working out, he's looking in really good shape. He's dropped a lot of weight. He looks a lot more athletic. He doesn't look like Superman Dwight Howard, but I mean, if we could just get a little tweak of that, it'd be absolutely beautiful. I'd freaking cry if we got Superman Dwight Howard back. But looking at the starting lineup for the Lakers and how the lineup is going to run, in my opinion, this is how it should start. Starting 5, Rondo, Danny Green, LeBron, Anthony Davis, JaVale McGee. I think JaVale and Dwight might go back and forth for the starting spot, and Frank Vogel even came out and said LeBron and AD are the only 2 locks for a starting role right now on the squad, which I completely agree. I mean, Avery Bradley, I think, could start. I think Quinn Cook could start. I think Kuzma can start. There are so many different variables that could go either way. But in my opinion, I think it should go Rondo, Danny Green, LeBron, AD, and JaVale. Then you look at your bench. For your bench, it looks like you have a 5-man lineup of Quinn Cook, Avery Bradley, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Kyle Kuzma, and Dwight Howard. I personally love Kyle Kuzma coming off the bench. Someone who gave you 18 points a night last year. He could be an early season candidate for 6th man of the year. I think him and Lou Will could go back and forth. He can give you around 18 points a game off the bench, or even like 15 or 16. I think that is some solid minutes for Kyle Kuzma, and you'll probably expect to see Kuzma towards the end of late game situations in the lineup. They'll probably move Anthony Davis to the 5 and then put Kuzma in at the 4. I think that would be such a solid lineup and such a solid rotation. And then after those 10, you have a very solid lineup. You also get Troy Daniels some minutes. You get Alex Caruso some minutes, Jared Dudley some minutes, and you get Kostas Antetokounmpo some minutes. So overall, you look at that 14-man roster, that 14-man lineup. How can you not say that's not the best in the league? I mean, I know all y'all want to hype up the Clippers and whatnot, but do they have a 14-man rotation like that? I know they got Paul George. I know they got Kawhi. I know they got Lou Will. I know they got Montrezl Harrell. But do they have a starting or a 14-man rotation like that? So I drew up 5 things that I need from Dwight Howard this season for the Lakers. The first thing is defensive consistency. We looked at the Lakers the last half of the season last year, and after February, they were the worst defensive team in the NBA. They were in the top 10 for the first 24 games of the season and put them in the top 4 in the standings for the Western Conference. They lost a lot of that. They brought Tyson Chandler in. He's a little too old. But now you got JaVale McGee and Dwight Howard as your big man. 2 solid big men that can play defense, that can play both ends. We need that consistency from Dwight Howard, specifically on the defensive end of the ball. Number 2, I talked about this, what he did with Kemba Walker, pick and roll efficiency. We are going to have so many different pick and roll situations, whether that's with Rondo handling the ball, LeBron handling the ball. I mean, even if they want to do an off-ball screen with maybe Danny Green coming off the wing, Dwight Howard is going to have to be athletic. He's going to have to be very well conditioned, because there's going to be a lot of situations where he's going to have to come up to the key, maybe do a pick and roll. I don't think he can do a pick and fade. I don't want Dwight shooting any threes. No, thank you. But I'm telling you, a pick and roll with Dwight Howard, if you could even do like a 2-man set of a pick and roll, AD on the left, Dwight on the right, LeBron handling the ball. I mean, give us the Larry O.B. right now. How do you guard that? Number 3, I have defensive rebounding into transition. I think last year what was really important for the Lakers was a showtime, up pace, high tempo offense. If you get Dwight Howard to give you offensive rebounds and he can push it up the floor, pass it out to Rondo, pass it out to LeBron in a full court pass or even a half court pass, that can get things rolling. That can get other teams running back towards their defense in a freaking stumble. I mean, could you imagine Dwight Howard grabbing the rebound and then throws it out to LeBron on the right side of the court? You have AD coming down on the left and a lob to AD. How do you stop that 3-man rotation? And if they can do that and they can get a lot of points in transition, it will help them so much on the defensive end as well. Number 4, I have free throw percentage close to 70%. Obviously, in 2019, Dwight only shot 60% in 9 games. In 2017-2018, he only shot 57% in 81. If we can somehow get that to even 65, we saw DeAndre Jordan last year bump it up to 70 plus. from being one of the worst free throw shooters in NBA history. It is possible, and with Dwight Howard losing 25 pounds, I obviously expect him to work on his free throw game this year, or this offseason. So if he can somehow get that closer to 70%, that can make such a difference. We don't have to worry about Howard in late game situations, and we don't have to take him out. You know what I mean? And finally, y'all, we have second chance points / offensive rebounding. Offensive rebounding is so pivotal nowadays in the NBA. If you have a solid big man, a solid power forward, a solid center that can give you second chance points like that, we saw over the Warriors dynasty over the last 5 years, when they got second chance points, whether it was Andrew Bogut or Draymond Green or Zaza Pachulia somehow getting an offensive rebound, that just can change the entire vibe, the entire situation of a game. If you see Danny Green miss a three, you see Dwight Howard grab the board, kick it out to LeBron, AD comes from the top of the key, makes a cut, and LeBron dishes it to him for a layup, that can change the whole momentum of a game just like that, and not all comes from a Dwight Howard rebound. Anyways, as a whole, like I said, I think Dwight Howard coming to the Lakers is an amazing pickup. Obviously, I know a lot of Laker fans, especially Kobe fans specifically, have a bad history with Dwight Howard, but look, y'all, you gotta think of it like this. The dude wants to win. The dude is here for a reason. He's here to win a championship. He's here to revive his legacy. If Dwight Howard gets a ring on his resume, that changes our perspective of Dwight Howard for his whole career. You look at Dwight Howard around 2009 to like 2012, he was a top 5 player in this league, possibly top 3. He was up there with Kobe, D-Wade, LeBron, whoever else you want to put up there. I think we have to remember that aspect, and if he can somehow get an NBA championship on his belt, we got to reconsider Dwight Howard as one of the top big men of all time. But overall, I think this is a great pickup for the Lakers. Me personally would have rather had Carmelo on the lineup or on the roster, but I know they needed another center. They cannot just run with JaVale because obviously Anthony Davis does not want to play center. But that will do it, y'all. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you guys are new. Thank you so much for the support. I cannot thank you all enough. Stay blessed, all 2019. Comment out what you think about Dwight Howard coming to the Lakers. Figure out this thing, y'all. Peace.